How narcissists inevitably self-destruct. Have you ever wondered why narcissists, no matter how confident, cunning, or invincible they may appear, always seem to end up sabotaging themselves? On the surface, narcissists seem to have it all figured out. They exude charm, they command attention, and they play the game of life with an unmatched level of manipulation. But beneath that carefully crafted facade lies a ticking time bomb, one that's set to go off sooner or later. In their desperate attempts to maintain control, power, and admiration, narcissists unknowingly sow the seeds of their own destruction. What makes this phenomenon so fascinating is that narcissists are completely unaware of how their own behaviors drive them toward collapse. Today, we're peeling back the layers of this psychological pattern and exploring exactly how narcissists inevitably self-destruct. By the time we're done, you'll understand why their downfall is not just a possibility but an inevitability, and why it often happens in ways they never see coming. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to welcome you to this space where we discuss important insights into toxic relationships, emotional healing, and personal growth. If you find this topic intriguing and want to hear more, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps this community grow, and it allows others to gain the clarity they need. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's explore the dark and inevitable endgame of narcissistic behavior. The defining characteristic of narcissists is that they live in a constant state of illusion, a carefully constructed facade that they present to the world. Their entire identity is built on a foundation that is fundamentally unstable, no matter how solid or polished it may seem on the surface. It's as if they're performing in a play where they are the star, and every interaction with others serves to reinforce their role. This illusion manifests as their inflated ego, their exaggerated sense of self-importance, and their unrelenting need for attention, admiration, and validation. To those who don't know them well, this mask of perfection can seem unshakable. Their charisma, confidence, and calculated charm create an impression of strength, success, and control that is hard to see through initially. However, the truth is that no one can hold up a false image indefinitely. The effort it takes to maintain this illusion is unsustainable, and sooner or later, cracks begin to appear. When these cracks emerge, the entire illusion starts to unravel, and that's when the process of self-destruction begins. At the root of this inevitable collapse is the narcissist's greatest weakness, their complete dependence on external validation. A narcissist lacks a stable, secure, or genuine sense of self. Beneath the carefully curated exterior, they are plagued by feelings of emptiness, deep insecurity, and a paralyzing fear of being exposed as inadequate or unworthy. This fear of exposure drives them to constantly seek out what is referred to as narcissistic supply, their lifeblood. This supply can take many forms, including compliments, admiration, attention, and even drama or conflict. To a narcissist, it doesn't matter whether the attention they receive is positive or negative. As long as they are at the center of someone's focus, their ego is temporarily soothed. For them, every moment of attention reaffirms their sense of importance, staving off the feelings of emptiness that lurk beneath the surface. But the key word here is asterisk, temporarily asterisk. The need for narcissistic supply is insatiable, like trying to fill a bucket with holes. No matter how much praise or attention they receive, it is never enough to satisfy them. This constant and unrelenting hunger for validation drives narcissists to behave in increasingly destructive ways. They manipulate, deceive, and exploit others without remorse, all in their endless pursuit of admiration and control. They are willing to lie, cheat, and step on anyone who gets in their way as they chase the next source of supply. To the narcissist, the ends always justify the means as long as their ego remains intact. However, the irony is that this behavior creates a ripple effect of chaos and instability in their lives. They burn bridges with friends, family, and colleagues. They ruin relationships and alienate people who once cared about them. Yet, despite their belief that they are in control, the consequences of their actions eventually catch up to them. The chaos they create becomes unmanageable, and the illusion they worked so hard to maintain begins to collapse around them. A perfect example of this self-destructive cycle can be seen in how narcissists behave in relationships. In the beginning stages, they seem almost too good to be true. They shower their partner with excessive love and attention in a phase known as love bombing. During this period, the narcissist presents themselves as the ideal partner, the person you've always dreamed of. They are affectionate, attentive, and often make extravagant promises of a future that feels like a fairy tale. This isn't genuine love, though. It's a calculated strategy designed to quickly hook their partner and secure them as a reliable source of narcissistic supply. Once the narcissist feels confident that their partner is emotionally invested and unlikely to leave, their behavior changes dramatically. The pedestal they put their partner on is suddenly ripped away as they begin the process of devaluation. During the devaluation stage, the narcissist becomes critical, cold, and manipulative. They may belittle their partner's appearance, intelligence, or abilities. What once felt like an endless stream of affection turns into a relentless barrage of judgment and criticism. This shift happens because narcissists cannot tolerate genuine intimacy. For them, relationships are not about mutual love, trust, or emotional connection. They are about power, control, and domination. The more vulnerable or intimate a relationship becomes, the more threatened the narcissist feels, because true connection requires authenticity, something they cannot provide. To protect their fragile ego, they sabotage the relationship, using tactics like gaslighting, emotional abuse, and manipulation to maintain their sense of superiority. Over time, this toxic dynamic erodes the relationship completely. Partners who were once drawn in by the narcissist's charm and promises find themselves emotionally drained, confused, and deeply hurt. Many eventually choose to walk away, unable to endure the endless cycle of love bombing, devaluation, and chaos. And yet, even as relationships crumble, the narcissist rarely learns or changes. They cannot recognize their own role in the destruction because admitting fault would shatter the illusion they built. Instead, they blame others, play the victim, or immediately seek out a new source of supply to repeat the same cycle. This inability to maintain healthy relationships, whether romantic, familial, or professional, only deepens their instability. This self-destructive pattern is not confined to romantic relationships. Narcissists carry these same toxic behaviors into every aspect of their lives, including friendships, family dynamics, and professional environments. No matter the context, the fundamental characteristics of a narcissist remain consistent. They manipulate, exploit, and alienate the people around them to serve their own needs. In the workplace, for example, narcissists often make a strong first impression. At first glance, they come across as confident, charismatic, and highly capable individuals. Their natural ability to project an image of competence and authority often allows them to climb the ranks quickly. They know how to charm their superiors, manipulate situations to their advantage, and position themselves as indispensable members of the team. Colleagues may initially admire their apparent ambition, drive, and self-assured demeanour. However, this success comes at a cost. As narcissists rise through the ranks, their underlying patterns of exploitation and dishonesty begin to emerge. To maintain their image and feed their ego, they often take credit for other people's ideas and hard work, positioning themselves as the hero of every success, while shifting blame for any failure onto others. They may use underhanded tactics to sabotage colleagues they see as competition, undermining their confidence and reputation to eliminate perceived threats. Over time, their manipulative behavior leaves a trail of destruction in its wake. Colleagues grow distrustful, resentful, and frustrated, realizing that the narcissist's charm was nothing more than a facade. Those who were once allies begin to see through the act, recognizing the narcissist's true motivations. As this pattern continues, the workplace becomes increasingly hostile for the narcissist. Their manipulative tactics start to backfire, and their carefully curated image begins to crack. People stop buying into their lies, colleagues start exposing their behavior, and the support systems they once relied on begin to disintegrate. Coworkers distance themselves, alliances fall apart, and the narcissist finds themselves increasingly isolated. Supervisors who once saw potential in them begin to question their integrity and competence. In many cases, this exposure results in significant consequences. The narcissist might lose their status, be passed over for opportunities, or even face removal from their position entirely. What started as a path to success inevitably turns into a downward spiral, fueled entirely by the narcissist's inability to foster genuine relationships or treat others with respect. The reason this downfall is inevitable is that it is built directly into the narcissist's behavior. They are so consumed by their need to be admired and validated that they are blind to the long-term consequences of their actions. Their short-sighted pursuit of admiration causes them to burn bridges, alienate supporters, and create enemies without even realizing it. Narcissists fail to see how their lies, manipulation, and constant drama push people away. Over time, their behavior exhausts those around them. Friends become fed up with being used and disrespected and begin to walk away. Family members may choose to cut ties entirely, opting for no contact as a means of self-preservation. In professional settings, coworkers and superiors lose trust in the narcissist, leaving them unsupported and exposed. Eventually, the supply of attention, validation, and admiration that the narcissist so desperately depends on begins to dry up. This marks the beginning of their unraveling. The collapse of their supply triggers what is known as narcissistic collapse. This occurs when the narcissist's false sense of superiority, control, and self-worth comes crashing down, forcing them to face the emptiness and insecurity that lies at their core. Without a steady source of external validation, the narcissist begins to lose their sense of identity. However, instead of using this moment to reflect on their actions or take accountability, the narcissist reacts with extreme emotional volatility. For some, this collapse manifests as explosive rage. Unable to accept blame or acknowledge their failures, they lash out at those around them, blaming others for their downfall. Others may spiral into depression or self-destructive behavior, consumed by the realization that their illusion of control has crumbled. Some narcissists become even more desperate, doubling down on their manipulative behaviors in an attempt to regain the admiration and power they'd lost. They may play the victim, fabricating sob stories and casting themselves as martyrs to elicit sympathy from others. Regardless of how they react, the core issue remains the same. The narcissist cannot escape themselves or the consequences of their behavior. One of the most tragic and ironic aspects of this self-destruction is that narcissists are often their own worst enemies. Their inability to form genuine, meaningful connections with others, combined with their insatiable greed for admiration and power, creates the very conditions that lead to their eventual collapse. Narcissists believe that their ability to manipulate, charm, and control others will shield them from consequences indefinitely. However, a life built on deceit, exploitation, and illusion is inherently unsustainable. The truth always finds a way to surface. The narcissist may succeed in hiding their true nature for a time, but eventually people see through the facade. When this happens, the very foundation of the narcissist's world begins to crumble, and they are left to confront the chaos they have created. What makes this downfall even more fascinating is that narcissists are often completely blind to it. Their grandiose sense of self-importance leads them to believe they are untouchable, that they are smarter, more powerful, and more deserving than anyone else around them. This inflated ego gives them a false sense of invincibility, leading them to underestimate the impact of their actions. They genuinely believe they can manipulate their way out of any situation, avoid consequences, and maintain control forever. But reality always catches up with them. Whether it's a romantic relationship falling apart, lifelong friendships being severed, a career crumbling due to their behavior, or legal and financial consequences finally catching up to them, the narcissist's downfall is always of their own making. In the end, narcissists destroy themselves because they cannot sustain their false reality. Their hunger for supply is endless, their relationships are transactional, and their manipulations are unsustainable. The very tactics they use to prop up their ego are the same ones that lead to their collapse. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and one that narcissists cannot escape. If you've ever been tangled in a narcissist's web, you may have witnessed this firsthand. You've seen the lies unravel, the relationships crumble, and the masks slip. And while it can be painful to watch, it's also a reminder that narcissists are not as powerful as they appear. Their destruction is inevitable because no one can outrun the truth forever. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end of this discussion. If you found this topic insightful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever seen a narcissist self-destruct? Let's keep this conversation going and help others recognize the truth about narcissistic behavior. 10 disgusting sexual behaviors of narcissists you should know about. Have you ever felt something unsettling in a relationship, like a lingering feeling that you're being manipulated or used, especially in intimate settings? If you've ever had the unfortunate experience of dealing with a narcissist, you may have noticed that they bring a dark and twisted dynamic into sexual relationships. What often begins with charm and intensity can quickly turn into disturbing behaviors that leave you emotionally and psychologically drained. In today's article, we're diving deep into the hidden and manipulative sexual habits of narcissists that you absolutely need to know about. Trust me, this is going to be eye-opening and could explain so much about your past experiences, or help you spot red flags going forward. Before we get started, I want to invite you to join this growing community where we tackle these important topics head-on. If this resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on future insights that could help you navigate your relationships and protect your peace. Alright, let's dive in. First things first, narcissists aren't like the average partner. Their sexual behaviors are rarely about connection or mutual satisfaction. Instead, they use intimacy as a tool to control, manipulate, and feed their own fragile egos. Narcissists see sex as an extension of their power play, another arena where they can dominate or exploit their partner. It's important to keep in mind that their ultimate goal is always self-serving, no matter how affectionate or attentive they appear in the beginning. So let's take a closer look at these disturbing sexual patterns that reveal the true nature of a narcissist. 1. Love bombing with overwhelming intensity. The beginning of a relationship with a narcissist often feels like something out of a fairy tale. It starts with a phase known as love bombing, and during this time, the narcissist will go to extraordinary lengths to make you feel like you found the perfect partner. They'll shower you with endless compliments, grand declarations of love, and displays of affection so intense that it feels almost otherworldly.